Hi, welcome to my video series. Today I would like to cover about software development as a career. I've been in technology as an industry for over 20 years or so. In my mind, I classify software development tracks into following five. The first one is primarily a track of visual developer. As a visual developer, the role is to create the user interface that is needed for users to access the functionality of the software. So it goes with different titles: user experience engineer, visual developer, etc., front-end developer, all of that. But primarily it is visual developer skills. If you look at what kind of skills they will need, the classical ones are HTML5, CSS3, and then you move on to jQuery, Angular, Bootstrap. These are the primary skill sets that need to be acquired for a visual developer. Well, there are other side of a visual developer, which is primarily engineering or an animation type, which is CAD, computer-aided designing. You have softwares like Maya, AutoCAD, etc. Even that is visual development. So that is track one, visual developer, right? Track two, I call that as logic developer. So essentially somebody who writes the business logic layer for a software functionality can be classified as a logic developer. So what are the skills for a logic developer? That goes with primarily either .NET, Java, Elasticsearch, Node.js, Play framework, even Python. So these are all the ones that you could use to develop the business logic for a software to function, right? So we already looked at the number one, visual developer. The second bucket is the logic developer. And the third one, it is becoming a lot more prominent in last 10 years, is data developer. So what is data development? Essentially, all the functionality or all the skills that are needed to wrangle the data from whatever the shape it is to a shape that can be easily migrated and displayed in the software. It is data wrangling kind of a role, but this is very critical since the data explosion occurred in last 20 years. Data management has become a lot more complex because we now have large quantity of data to be processed. So the skills that are needed for a data developer includes basic database management skills, that maybe knowing very good data query capabilities or writing data tables, that is essentially learning SQL on a structured side, or a MongoDB on an unstructured side. And then there are other very popular open source software like Postgres. So that's the data developer from a database viewpoint. And again, on top of it, there's a lot of analytical visualization that is needed. So for building the dashboards, cubes, and analysis of the data or the spreadsheets type of a content to be showed to the users, so you will also need to learn the business intelligent applications like either Oracle Business Intelligence or Microsoft Power BI, or advanced streaming data capable Kibana. So these are Tableau. So this again falls under the data developer bucket in my mind, even though it can cross over to visual developer skills, but definitely a data developer having these skills will give a very good track to secure the skills needed for the industry. So we looked at visual developer, logic developer, and data developer, right? Three. The last two of them, let's quickly cover. Test developer. What does a test developer do? Well, they start off initially with a manual testing for a software that has been built. Does the software function the way for what it has been built? That's the role of a test developer. So that is many times for that manual functionality, you do not need software development skills beyond an eye for details, able to understand how the users might try to use the software, does it work, identify the bugs with the software, etc. But quickly, soon after you learn manual testing, you move on to a lot more advanced versions, which is like a load testing, performance testing, and a automated testing, because there is a concept of test-driven development where you first create the test cases and then develop the software. And since you already created the test cases, you use those test cases to test the software that was developed. It could happen as if where you have tests written, coding is done in the day, code drop is done in the night, and the regression test is run overnight. Next day morning, the developer comes back, sees the errors he has, fixes them, and moves on for the next user story development. So testing, what kind of skills you need to learn there? There are some open source software tools like Selenium, but in addition to that, you will need to learn a lot of scripting skills, which will help you to do the automated testing faster and better. Maybe learning Python, having a good knowledge on XML, CSS, and HTML and APIs. So we'll give a little more insights to beyond manual testing so that you could be a great test developer. The last bucket, fifth one, I call them as operational developer. It's in industry it's called DevOps, but if you look at data development or visual development, logic development, test development, I call this as a operational development or ops dev. Basically, for operational developer, the key skills needed are Linux, understanding of a basic infrastructure for a computer, for a server, for a network, understanding AWS, for example, Amazon Web Services, and then understanding the concept of a Docker, Nginx, and also the continuous integration tools like Jenkins and a few others. So these are the 5 buckets or the 5 tracks of software development that I would recommend anybody who's looking into to see what to specialize in. So beyond all of this, of course, we have a project management skills, and the business analysis skills to understand the requirements, to manage the projects and go live. Hope this video has been helpful for you to understand if you want to get into software, what is the track that might interest you, be it a visual, be it logic or data or test or operational developer. All of them have equal importance, and some of them definitely needs, or each one of them definitely needs a particular skill to be learned initially to get into the track. Once you're in the track, maybe you spend a couple of years and try to understand. If you like it, stay there, or you can move across all of them. Once you're reasonably aware of all of this, then you would be called as a full stack developer. That means at this time you can pretty much ready to develop a product from end to end all by yourself. But not many would like to be a full stack developer because they want to go deep and gain more knowledge. Please do leave your comments on this video. I'll try my best to respond. The idea here is to give you a glimpse of what are the tracks within the software development you want to be in. With that, I'm signing off. Thank you for taking your time to watch my video. Thank you.